Malcolm, how do you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Um, again, obvious question. Welcome to the league. Have you had a chance to watch many of the games so far, and if so, what's been your impressions of it?
Yeah, I've got a chance to watch quite a few games actually, and I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the players in the league. Guys that have played over in North America that I've either coached against or, some occasions even coached. So, pretty familiar with the style. I mean, it's somewhat of a hybrid between European and North American style. It's a lot more physical in some of the other countries in Europe where I've had experience. But it looks like a fun league. I like the North American style, the physical part of the game, and certainly we have some ingredients on our team that like to play that way as well. So I'm looking forward to a fun season.
Yeah, good stuff. Obviously, you're sort of straight in at the deep end in terms of the leagues. You haven't had the Challenge Cup to maybe try out a few things like some clubs or some teams tend to do. Does that put maybe a little bit of added pressure on you to hopefully get off to a good start?
You know what? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we're behind. There's some disadvantages to being behind like we are right now. I mean, everybody's kind of in game shape and sharp, and had 5, 6, 7 games to get somewhat fine tuned. We're going to get one exhibition game, and then we're going right at it. So, I guess that's a bit of a disadvantage because we're playing some more polished teams than we are, but we're also having that initial first game excitement at the same time. That's good and that's bad. Sometimes that can be dangerous because you're overworking and you put yourself out of position, but I'd rather have to calm the engines down than have to crank them up. So I know we're pretty excited about our first game.
Yeah, good stuff. And just in terms of the season, have you set yourself a goal? Obviously, Clan would love to bring that first sort of major trophy to the club sort of thing. Is it just a case of seeing how things develop over the course of the season?
Well, for us, it's more like we're setting short-term goals, and that is, we want to be on the plus side each and every month, in terms of wins and losses, and that'll set you up for a playoff position, and then anything can happen in the playoffs, as we all know. So, for us, it's steady progress. We're going to have the advantage of playing a lot of games in a shorter period of time, so we can play catch up pretty quick. In saying that, then comes the risk for some injuries too. But guys would rather be playing games and practicing. I can tell you that. So, at this point of the season, we're only 8 practices into our season. Guys are chomping at the bit to get into a game.
Yeah. So the final one, just maybe on a more sort of personal note, Malcolm, obviously you've got connections in Scotland sort of thing. I don't suppose you've had much of a chance yet to get out and about, but is that something you're looking forward to doing as the season goes on?
I most definitely am. Yeah, it's been, the weather reminds me of where I grew up for sure. Lots of rain, lots of gray, lots of fog and things like that. It's been really nice being here. I mean, we've been pretty busy since I got here on the 15th. We're going to have some downtime in December, and I'll get a chance. I'm hoping my dad can come over from Nova Scotia, and we'll get a chance to kind of visit where our ancestors came from and spend a couple of days up there and tour around and really see the sights.
Yeah, great stuff. Smashing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Malcolm,
Scott, Nigel.
Yeah, you've been training in Dumfries. Is there a disadvantage because Braehead's slightly bigger? So you've then got to adjust to that to game day.
And you know what? Like we practiced at Auchenharvie, I think it's pronounced as well. So we kind of been back and forth. The only real hard thing about practicing in Dumfries is it's 3 hours round trip every day. So it makes for a long day for training camp. Plus, guys are getting into the gym working out as well. So it's made the days a little bit longer for our guys than if we're in our home rink. From my understanding and from my viewpoint of watching games within the league, there's a lot of different dimensions in the league in terms of ice size. So you have to adapt, regardless of where you're playing. So we've been practicing a lot at Dumfries. So for our exhibition game tomorrow, I think we're well suited. I think the guys will enjoy the bigger ice surface, and we've got guys that have played in Europe before, so they'll be used to the bigger ice surface when we get to Belfast.
Yeah, you said in your press statement on Sunday that the fans shouldn't expect too much, given the fact that it's a tight ice pad at Dumfries. Correct?
It's an exhibition game. We're out there just kind of trying to mix it up a little bit and play against somebody else as opposed to competing against ourselves every day. It makes, for something a little bit fresh. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that I can see some positive points in our systems and our structure and some of the different, plays that we're looking to run on special teams and things like that. So, and it gives me an area of focus over our last couple of days to get ready for Belfast.
Belfast, have you seen them live or have you watched them on tape?
Just on, live on video.
Yeah. Disadvantage with that?
Not really. No, I mean, everything's on video now. As far as driving to watch people play, it's much easier to see it on video where you can stop it, you can go back and review and see everything within the game. So yeah, I mean, obviously we're gonna use their next game as a pre-scout video for us and to prepare for the game on Sunday.
And what about the shape the guys arrived? Were they okay or were they behind what you wanted?
No, I think actually guys cardio-wise were in great shape. It was a real struggle for some of them to get ice time over the last couple of weeks because, all our guys that skate with the pro and junior guys, all those players left for their training camps. So to get competitive ice was really difficult over the last 3 or 4 weeks for our guys, but I was very pleasantly surprised we come in the shape we come in.
Very difficult to say, but when do you really expect them to be in top shape? 6, 7, 10 games?
Probably after 5 games. You would expect them to be a little, I think in pro hockey, every 10 games, there's a big jump up, as far as the caliber of play, because everybody's sharper. You've had time to gel as a group on the ice and really refine, your systems and your special teams and things like that. So I think the caliber of play jumps league wide in every league about every 10 games. For us, we're going to have to play catch up. So probably half of that, after 5 games, we should be much more polished than we will be in game 1.
Any setbacks injury wise in the last 8 days?
Nope, nothing. We're all healthy.
Right. And have they all adapted to Glasgow?
Well, we're not in Glasgow. We're actually in Ayr. So,
oh, right.
Yeah,
oh, well.
Yeah. Everybody seems to have adapted really, really well. And, guys seem to be enjoying it. We got a nice little gym facility here that the guys use to come up and swim and sauna and work out and things like that. And it's a smaller little city and guys can walk as well downtown and explore a little bit. So I know a bunch of our guys have played a couple rounds of golf here. So, the initial couple of days of jet lag and time change was an adjustment, but no, everything's been good.
Does that mean you're going to all stay permanently in Ayrshire rather than in Glasgow?
No, just because of the summit that's going on there right now. Once that's over, we're moving back to Glasgow.
Right. And the terms of things that are really important, ice hockey players, all athletes need proper diet. Have they managed to adjust to the Scottish diet?
Seems like everybody's just eating what they regularly eat. So, I mean, the grocery stores sell everything here. So I see lots of pastas and chicken and rice and, lots of red meat and things like that. So guys have been eating pretty much whatever they eat back home.
They haven't tried the fried Mars bars yet then, have they? And
no, but everybody's talked about it. And I know nobody's tried haggis yet. So I don't see that being I don't see anybody jumping up and trying that, including myself.
So it's all systems go for the weekend?
All systems go, yes, sir.
Well, that's me done.
Thanks, Nigel. Let's bring in the opposition for Sunday, Patrick.
How are you doing, Coach? Welcome to the league. I'm coming from more or less the Belfast perspective overall, but I'd just like to first ask, how big do you see this challenge coming in as a first time in the Elite League and with the roster you've got coming in so late? It seems to be quite a big challenge.
Everything's a challenge. Anytime you lace the skates up and you go and play somebody, it's a challenge. I've coached in a lot of different places in a lot of different leagues. I think I've coached close to 900 games or something in the ECHL and 300 in the Western Hockey League and now in several countries in Europe, university hockey in Canada. Everything's a challenge. When you walk into a new team, we're rebuilding. We only brought a couple players back from the previous season and you know, we had a late start with our recruiting, but I was pleased. I got a lot of guys that I wanted to get. Would we like to have started at the same time as everybody else? Well, of course, but you know what? Sometimes adversity, you know, makes you stronger as a group, and we faced some adversity, but all the guys are here, healthy, happy, and ready to go.
Coming in as a first-time coach in the Elite League, you know, how important is it for you to lean on players like Matthew Waugh, Jamie Crooks, guys who have experience within this league?
Well, I know quite a bit about this league because the coaches in the league have been calling me for the last 15 years about players in North America. So, you know, it's a lot of the ECHL players and guys that I knew from the American Hockey League have come over here over the years. So I'm pretty familiar with the league. You know, certainly not the buildings, but you know, because I haven't been in any of them except for Brayhead. But yeah, I mean, anytime you jump to a new league, it's you know, there's an initial get to know and feeling out process. But you know, this is my 24th year coach, and I'm pretty calm guy. I don't get rattled too easy.
That's good to hear. When it comes to this league, of course, you know, there are limits on imports and bringing in the British players, and you got a lot of young Scots lads, so Stenton, Ferguson, Boyd. You know, how are you seeing these guys? Are these guys fitting in well? Do you see these guys coming through and getting a lot of ice time with your team?
It's hard to say it. I mean, training camp is one thing, game action's another thing, but they certainly haven't, you know, disappointed me in terms of their effort. And the thing, I guess, the biggest thing for me is their growth curve and how quickly they've learned, you know, things that they haven't seen before or done before on the ice, preparation work and things like that. They've adapted really, really well. And I'd much take a younger raw player than somebody who's old and on his way out, you know, because they're a lot more motivated and, you know, they're working hard, they're in the gym. So I'm really pleased with our young local guys and excited.
You made an interesting point there about how, you know, you spent a lot of time on the coast and you know, in WHL and coming in here. What sort of parity do you see between those two leagues? Do you feel you're coming into a league that, you know, isn't too far away from what you've coached in before?
It's probably more similar to the ECHL just because, you know, a lot of the guys in this league have ECHL experience. So, you know, and obviously your coach has got ECHL experience as a player. So, you know, similar, it's a lot more physical than some of the other countries that, you know, I've seen. I've been in Italy, I've been in the Erste League, which is Hungary and Romania. I've been to, you know, I've played against teams in Austria and Germany as well. This is a little bit more North American style hockey. You know, there's a lot more physical. You know, there's some fisticuffs and things like that maybe you don't see in the other countries. And therefore, there's players on your roster here that can fill that role when you need to, whereas in other places you don't have guys that fill those roles. So I see it being very similar to the ECHL. There's quite a few more older players in this league, whereas the ECHL is more of an NHL prospect league now. The NHL has really dumped a lot of money into developing players at the ECHL level, whereas it used to be just the AHL level. So the speed, you know, the ECHL is very fast and similar to the AHL. This is probably more ECHL 7-8 years ago in terms of older players. You know, older players are smarter, so they don't have to skate around 100 miles an hour because they know where to be and they anticipate the play a little bit better. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
Does there need to be a balance there between the older players and trying to develop in that youth? Because obviously here we've had quite a bit of, I don't want to say uproar, but you know, about that there's a perception that there's too many imports and that we're bringing in too many Canadians. But that experience is tantamount to how you bring these young players through at a British level.
Well, you know what? I tried to go out and get guys that had significant pro experience that were under 30. And because older players break down, number one, you know, it's a tough season, especially for us having to play as many games as everybody else in a shorter period of time. So I wanted to make sure I could have players that were durable enough to withstand, you know, the schedule. Also guys that, you know, weren't, you know, you get to a certain age and you're just more worried about yourself. You get a little grumpy and you're not maybe as good as in the locker room with the younger guys as you were 5-6 years before that. So I went out and got guys that are, really good in the locker room, good with the young players, willing to step up and, guide them and advise them and lean on, have them lean on them in terms of development and things like that. So if you look at our team as a whole, we've got, a lot of the 25 to 30-year-old guys on our roster.
One of the guys right in that bracket with the CHL and the AHL experience is your starting goalkeeper in Shane Starrett. What are you expecting from him this season? Do you think you've brought a star in there?
Yeah, I had Shane as a rookie when he was an Edmonton Oiler contract, and he was fantastic for us. Just got better as the season went on, and had a heck of a playoff for us. And then the following year, he becomes an AHL first-team All-Star. It's unfortunate in the third year with the Oilers, he got hurt and missed significant time because he was projected to be playing in the National Hockey League this year after his AHL, All-Star season. So his misfortune is our fortune, and we're very happy to have him. Shane's a big guy. He's a 6'5" off skates, 6'7", 6'8" on skates, and he fills a lot of the net, and he's very athletic, and he's a very hard worker.
Coming into this weekend, obviously not the sort of pre-season, the build-up that you had wanted, and having to cancel all those games to start against the Belfast Giants, who this past weekend had a great weekend against Fife and the Nottingham Panthers. Of what you've seen of Belfast and what you've seen of your own team, what do you see happening in this game? How do you see your approach to this game being?
Well, for me, being a first game, I'm more worried about us than I am anybody else. If you're confident in your team, then it's going to go out and execute the game plan. And if you can execute your game plan, it gives you a good chance to win. So for me, I'm more worried about us than I am our opponent right now. And that's not a disrespect to anybody or anything like that. And any coach that's been around knows that you got to worry about your own group at the beginning of the year before you taper things to your opponent. The advantage we have is that nobody has seen us. Nobody's seen any video on us. Nobody knows what to expect, coming in. They may think they know our personnel, but they don't know, what our combinations are, what our power play looks like, how we're going to kill penalties. So, teams, we have the advantage a little bit that I'm going to be able to pre-scout the Belfast Giants, but the Belfast Giants and our opponents aren't going to be able to really pre-scout us because they haven't seen us yet. So that's an advantage for us.
Listen, Coach, good luck this season, not so much this weekend, and thanks for your time.
Anytime.